Hello, everyone. We are here tonight in Kyle, Texas, and with Mr. Jody. Where are you located at, Jody?
I'm near Charlotte, North Carolina, April.
North Carolina. So we've got ourselves quite the span across the South here. So we'd like for everyone who's going to be jumping on to share where you're from and to share maybe what you're hoping to find tonight. If you have any kind of questions that pop up, please go ahead and put those down. Towards the end, we like to share, understand, read through them, and find out if there is a solution for some of the questions. I know we've been asking some throughout this week. It's been a fantastic week of interviews. We've had so many great people pop in here and share incredible messages, and I see some more people popping up now. So share where you're from. We're down here in Texas, and Jody's over there in North Carolina, and really we're all around the world. We're all Heavenly Father's family and children, brothers and sisters, and we are here tonight to share with you how you can find your light by going all in. So Jody, will you please go ahead and share a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to jump right into this.
Sure, April. Thank you for having me, by the way. I just really appreciate you taking the time to have me on, and you have had an excellent week of just interviews. I've got to catch several of them, and they've been phenomenal. But a little bit about me real quick. I've been a pastor for over 20 years, so I've had a lot of experience in communicating and public speaking. That has led to motivational speaking. That has led to me authoring a book that I released at the beginning of this year, and that is also in the running for the awards and been nominated for a global award through AAE during this time. And so that's exciting. And from that, it has spurred a personal ministry business for me as an entrepreneur. And I'm now a life coach, a business coach, and I also am the creator of a program that coincides with the book I wrote, April, that really helps people to really go all in. And so outside of that, I'm the founder of Solution Ministries. It's ticking at the bottom, and it's a little play on the word solution, but it's Solution Ministries. And so that's a little bit about me. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So let's jump right into this, so to speak. What does it mean to go all in? Let's share that with our listeners. And if anyone has questions, comments, pop them up here. Let's see what we can do to really give you some light tonight.
Absolutely. April, going all in came from a sermon I preached quite a few years ago. It was actually called White Flag, because when we think about white flag, it's the idea of surrender.
Sure.
And when I finished preaching that, I just felt like it wasn't complete and there was more to it. And really the concept of that sermon series that I did was how that we should go all in, in every part of us, right? So I believe that we're a tripart being made in the image of God. And in that, I believe that so often we give up parts of ourselves, but never fully surrender to God's will for our life, to the Father's will. And so many people I'm discovering more and more really don't even know what His calling and will is for their life. They don't know what their purpose is. They're just asking questions like, why am I here and what is my purpose? And so in that, I feel like really going all in is being willing to surrender yourself, which is really what the whole book's about. Surrender yourself to why you were created and what your unique individual purpose is here on this earth.
That is wonderful. Now, I have to say, even though I say that's wonderful, it can be terrifying.
Absolutely.
Because you are surrendering control. You are surrendering any kind of knowledge of hey, I think I have this power, I can do these types of things. And when you come to that altar and you're putting everything out there on the line, but wait, this one's my favorite little sin. Can I just hold this one back for just a few minutes?
Right.
A few more minutes? It's tough. It's really hard.
It is.
And some people might think, well, what does that have to do if you are in a situation that is possibly beyond your control? If you are in situations of abuse or in an economic downturn that becomes global, what happens then? There's got to be something where we could have a little bit of give and take in that. Or do we still have to go all in those circumstances? How would you respond to that?
I would say in those scenarios, April, I understand. And let me clarify, by saying complete surrender, it doesn't equate perfection. None of us are perfect. We will never be perfect. We will always have flaws that need, refining from the Lord.
Yes.
But when I say that, it's basically, it is the idea of surrender, right? It's the idea of you coming to a place in your life where you understand kind of what Jesus implied when he said, I've come to do my Father's will. And, as he prayed in the garden, it was a tough situation, April. It was very difficult. He foreshadowed and saw that he was going to the cross. He knew the agony and the pain he was going to endure. And even in that garden, as great drops of sweat and blood mingled fell to the earth, he cried out, "Not my will, but your will be done." And that is surrender. The other example I would give in difficult situations is what I describe in the book. And I take you through the life of Abraham. And at the end of the book, the next to last chapter, I conclude his story with him standing on a mountain. He's got his son Isaac on an altar, and basically a knife or a dagger drew back, ready to take his life. Now, that's a difficult situation, but if you read over in Hebrews, this is what Abraham says. The Bible says Abraham believed that God's word was so true that if he would have killed Isaac, God would have raised him from the dead. I think when we put it into perspective and we understand that God's way is best, even when it's hard, and I've been in some tough situations. Now, I've not been in some of the situations you're referring to as far as domestic abuse. And I know a lot of women, I've counseled women that are going through that, and I know it's hard. But I also know this, if there's any women listening like that, I know this, I know God's perfect will for your life is not for you to suffer that abuse. He did not create you to be treated that way and to be beat upon or verbally abused or emotionally abused. He clearly teaches us in his word that his desire is that we be whole, body, spirit, and soul. And so to go all in is a difficult thing, like you said, but I think that we always have to come to the conclusion that God's way is best and his will is perfect. Yes, does that make sense, April?
It does. It makes great sense. So how do we apply that? So you mentioned that you now help with business coaching and such like that.
Right.
So it feels like it's going to go in an opposite direction. However, with anything of our life, and when we have opportunities in business or an opportunity to provide for ourselves, right? One of the key things to be able to escape abuse is to become financially independent from, however the household is set up, so that you can support and provide for yourself. So in going all in and in using that scenario that you were talking about, how would you, what do you do to help with businesses and to help those leaderships within that to know how they can possibly go all in?
Okay. And it depends on what stage they are, April. Sure. I talk to some folks, and some folks are, again, they just don't even have a clue yet what it is. They're not fulfilled in life. I've known people that make really good money, but they're just not excited to get up in the mornings, and you and I know this because I believe you're walking in your purpose as well. And, when I wake up in the morning, like today, this is my second interview today. When I wake up in the morning, whether it's an interview or whether it's a phone call with somebody that I'm coaching or whether it's my church work that I do, I'm excited. I go to bed at night and I feel like, man, I made a difference. I made an impact and influence some people in the world today for good. And a lot of people don't have that in their life. I'm learning. A lot of people don't have it, for one, because a lot of people do not know what it is they are even created to do. So depending on the stage, I might help them learn and dive in and let's work in and see what is your God-gifted purpose. What is it you were created to do? Not what was projected on you, not what was, maybe not what your parents told you they wanted you to do your whole life, or what some people have said about you. What is, we both know Carrie very well. And one thing I love about one of the books Carrie wrote is Your Secret Name. What is your secret name? But going farther than that, not just what is your secret name, what is your significant purpose? What is it you were created to do? And so if they're at that stage, that's what I do. If it's somebody that comes to me, I was talking with a person earlier today on a coaching call, and they know what, and I can tell you, they're doing what they were called to do. They've walked into it. They know it. And so for somebody like that, I really help them establish their vision that they feel that God is giving them, because so oftentimes people just don't know how to take the next step, whether it's a lack of knowledge or whether it may be, just not feeling good, just feeling really uneasy and scared of failure, and fears and all these things creep in. So, sometimes I feel like I have a little bit of an advantage because I am a pastor and a coach. And so I have a little bit of an advantage there. And so I help people, I help people to get their businesses where they want it to go, and know that they're doing it walking on the heels of God, walking behind the Father, following him in the way that he's leading.
That's wonderful. When you have such a great direction, and when you can see the people that need the help, and as they're coming to you, you can kind of see where they're at, as they're coming in, are they just kind of ankle deep? Are they knee deep? Are they hip deep?
Right.
Where are they at within this flow? And so it's very similar. I'm really glad that you led into that with how, when I approach the work that I do with so many women, it's amazing to see how this journey of healing really happens, where we've got the people that just come in and they're just fresh from being a victim. Right now, they've done amazing work to get out and to become this. However, the habits have been set for a long time, and it is challenging to shed that victimhood. So that's kind of where most of them start and come in, and they will need to share their story. When they do, they share really the raw piece of it, which is beautiful, because that's a start. And then I notice as they start to heal a little bit more or go a little bit deeper, they become those survivors. And those survivors, there's so much energy with them. I mean, they've got the boxing gloves on, and they're so proud to show, this is where I was and this is where I am, and I'm a survivor. And it is an empowering label. And I feel Heavenly Father smile so deeply with this, because they're not just starting the journey, they're walking within it. And it's like he smiles and says, there's more around the corner, just keep going. And then when they do, they arrive and they start to thrive. And so it's not that they shed these labels, they actually empower each label. So I see those survivors start to turning into the thrivers. Now the thrivers, you'll see, they start to kind of gather people with them and take the journey together. They still share a powerful story, but now they actually want to return the service. And then those that continue a little bit further in their healing journey and a little bit more walking, like you said, on the heels of our Father, they become true victors. And in that victory, they understand the power of forgiveness. Now, some might think, that is such a challenge. And you're like, of course it is. But that's the power of healing. And it takes time. And I can't tell you, in 16 months, you'll be at the time of the Lord. I don't know the timing on it. I just know that it takes time. And if you're willing to work within that, you are going all in.
Absolutely.
when the fear happens and you like have to kind of sit down for a minute, we're right there with you. And it's absolutely fine because like Jody said, there's not going to be anything perfect about this. In fact, it is going to be the sticky, messiest, well, I always call it the big booger cry. Like it's going to be hard on sometimes, but wow, it's not just a payoff is worth it. It is this beacon of light, this idea that you can then reach out. Your soul ministries, right, in the solution really comes full circle. That is so powerful. I honor you for finding that and bringing people to it in lots of different aspects. So it won't just be over the pulpit at church. It will be as we live our lives daily. That is the testimony of how we treat others, brothers and sisters, strangers and friends, how we bring all that in together should be in that going all in. So that's amazing. Can you hold up your book? Do you have that? I want to take a picture of that. Look at that. We've got it. Going all in. Can you see the picture of what's happening there? I mean, this is like cliff jumping. Like you're going all in. It's jumping in. Going for it. Now I have to ask, is that you? Are you the model for that one?
No, I could be. I could be. If you read the book, you'll understand. The last chapter really ties everything together. But yeah, it's what you were saying, April, really resonates. And I want to say this about you is that you are a tremendous role model and advocate, I believe, for women who have suffered domestic abuse or anybody really, because, you know, I love how you tied that together a moment ago. Even on the back cover of a copy of my book, it says, you know, stop surviving and start thriving. And so many people stop. I call it settlers, not in the old fashioned sense of a wagon, but settling for just getting away. It's settling for surviving. Yeah. But God didn't call us to just simply survive. The Bible says that Jesus said, I came to give you life and give it to you more abundantly. And when you understand that, you understand that God's design for every human being, if they become God partnered and walk in his created process and why he made you and your purpose, is for you to be successful. And to think otherwise would to think that God created you to be a failure. And what kind of God would that be? And so for that process that you were mentioning of, you know, I was really thinking about it a little bit while you were talking. For that process of somebody that's in domestic abuse situation or in really any problematic, I know you mentioned economic crisis and just all these crises in the world today. You know, here's just a quick example. I'm sure most of you have heard of Steve Harvey. You know, Steve Harvey was homeless living out of his car, but he knew his purpose was to make people laugh. He knew that from the time he was a kid. He had a dream put inside of him that I want to be on TV, even though he was mocked and ridiculed by his teacher in elementary school. And look where he is today. Look where he is today. And it's only because he was willing to go all in. And sometimes we have to go through the pain to get to the promise. Your pain serves a purpose. Mm-hmm. And God can take your pain, and your pain points is what I call them. He can take your pain points, and I promise you, your pain points, just like yours, April, will tie to your purpose. Yes. It always will. And so something I mentioned in the book is you can be saved. In other words, you can have a relationship with God and not be surrendered.
Yeah, that's very true. Because you can, it's safe. That's a safe relationship.
Absolutely.
It's very safe, and that's fine. It's a start. It's a beginning. But there's so much more. And
there is.
If you're willing to go all in, there is so much more. That's amazing. Well, I wanted to say we've got amazing people here all the way from Ghana.
Awesome.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you so much. And Darcy, thank you so much for, popping in here and contributing. It's wonderful.
Yes.
So, Jody, can you share at least one of the stories out of your book to help maybe anyone else who's listening to say, you know what, I want to go get this book. I want to vote for him. This is going to be something that's going to really impact me. Would you like to share any of the stories?
Sure. I'll share a humorous story because
Love
everybody
it.
needs a good laugh today. Laughter is good like a medicine.
It is.
So one of the chapters in my book, it's subtitled Passwords. And the reason I do that, it's at the very beginning actually. And the reason I do it is because I want you to understand the password to success, right? And the password is surrender. But in sharing that story, I share getting into that analogy, I share a very funny story about years ago. I went to the bank ATM. I needed to go to the grocery store, go get some dinner. I don't remember, but I was going to get something of necessity. And so I stopped by the ATM to withdraw some cash. And I punched in our PIN, our personal identification number, and I punched it in. And it told me I was wrong. Well, I mean, I knew I was right. I'm never wrong, right? So I punched it in a second time and then a third time. And the third time, this machine eats my card. It doesn't give it back. It gives me a little message, wrong code, whatever. So I'm actually very frustrated. And if I'm honest, a little furious because now I realize this machine has my card. That means I have no money. That means the plans I had for this evening are completely shot. I've got to restructure everything. If I would have had a baseball bat, I might have went to jail because I would have probably beat that machine to death. But we said we're not perfect, right? So anyway, I call my wife and I'm really just needing that sympathetic ear. I can't believe this machine has done this to you. I call my wife and I'm like, hey, you ain't going to believe what this machine just did. It ate my card. And she says, well, what did you punch in? I said, I punched in the PIN, the same PIN I punch in every time. Now, here's the thing, April. Most people do this. We had designated our personal identification number to be one that we would never forget. Okay. It was something that we would never forget. And so she said, well, what did you punch in? So I called out this number to her. And she says, sweetie, that's not right. I said, it is right. She said, no. She said, you missed it by one number. Now, here's what makes that really complicated is that the number I missed was my daughter's birthday. And so not only did I forget my PIN, I forgot the day my daughter was born on. And I segue from that into the fact of how often have you maybe forgotten a password or mispunched, or misappropriated a password? And I talk about how we have them on our cell phones, on our laptops, on our homes. We have them everywhere and we use them every day. But if you do not know the password, you do not get access, So in other words, here's my cell phone. You see exactly what I put in the book. You see my wife's picture, the time, the date, whatever, but you don't get access to what's inside of my phone unless you know the password. And we don't get access to the success that God has for us unless we know the password. So I give them the password at the get-go, just a spoiler alert, but then I take you through and teach you and show you how to navigate the setbacks and the struggles and everything that you're going to go through to get to that place where you, just like Abraham, can stand on that mountaintop and say, I surrender all.
Right. I know as a mom of 9, today was a surrender all. We had to do a big cleanup and a clean out. And I was just like, we'll get as far as we can go. We're going to smile and just laugh through it because I'm appalled at what I'm looking at. But we're just going to keep on going because,
right.
I could make memories today that would be on the positive side, or I could make memories today that would, denote me as, oh, it's time to clean. My mom's after me again. And so, there are choices, there's possibilities, there's everything I know that comes to us and the things that we have to do. there's choice involved. And so there is choice in the surrender. There is choice in knowing, kind of what we made fun of at the beginning was, putting everything on the altar, but this one, I'm just going to put that one in the pocket. Just going to keep that one for just a little bit more. I'm not quite sure I want to get rid of it yet. And so it's okay, because soon enough we'll start emptying out our pockets a little bit more and a little bit more, because we'll see as we do, we become more and more free. And that freedom in the surrender, even though it doesn't feel like it's going to happen that way, we actually become more joyful, and we can handle the things that come. The problems will never cease. The trials will never just all of a sudden dry up. But our ability to understand, our ability to go through, our ability to find the laughter, like, I'm glad you didn't hit the machine with the baseball bat, and you just kind of go through it.
Right.
That's what's gonna help us to go all in. So hold up that book again. And everyone, he is nominated for an Author Academy Award. We're going to post the link at the bottom here. What page, because there's 16 pages, there's 16 categories. So what page will that book be on? That's what I'm trying to say.
It's on page 11, the religious nonfiction. So it's on page 11.
Nonfiction. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on page 11.
We'll put that down there. And what is the best way to get a hold of you, Mr. Jody?
They can go to Solution Ministries, and there's just a great amount of information about what I do and how you can contact me through there. Even schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me to, just see how we could work together. But then also, I am on social media. I use Facebook primarily. I do a little bit on Instagram, but mostly Facebook. So it's just Facebook.com/Jody Almond, and then Going All In right behind it. So Jody Almond Going All In, and that's my public author page and kind of the business page there. And, you can keep up with a lot of things going on there. So they could reach out to me there. They could reach out to me through that private message, or send me a message, through my website there that you have scrolling at the bottom, April.
Awesome. Look at that. Darcy says, good luck in the awards, Jody.
Thank you, Darcy.
Now, another fun announcement at the end of all of this is that Jody has a wonderful offer. Hold up that book again. He is going to be giving one of these copies away for free. So we're going to be picking the winner of that tonight. And I'm sure he's going to probably put his little John Hancock in there and send that off to you. So if you are the winner, we will contact you through private message to gather your mailing address, and he will send you one tonight. That is fantastic. Thank you so much for a beautiful offer.
Absolutely.
So right there, that's a wonderful way to invest within yourself through investing something that is, we all have at least $20 in our pocket, right? And it's not even $20. So that's even a better investment. That's wonderful. So go there, come and go to solutionministry.com. You can also check him out with the Facebook. Anything that he has to offer, it looks like you can even do a free 30-minute call with him to see if this is a good fit. So that is a wonderful thing as well. Thank you, everybody, for participating and coming tonight. Jody, thank you so much for sharing this out and for being such a beautiful guest with us tonight. Everyone, you have light. His work can help you to find even more. Please remember that you are worth it. You are worth it. Thank you, Jody, so much. We'll put all of the information down in the comments below. And it's been a wonderful evening. I hope everyone has a beautiful weekend and enjoys it with their family and friends.
Absolutely. Thank you, April. And real quick before we go, for all my friends that watch, I know you're in the awards too for your book, Pinpoints of Light. What page is that on? So when they go vote, they can maybe vote for you too. Absolutely.
Oh, you're so kind to mention that. I'm in the memoir category, so that's page 9. 9/.
Okay.
Thank you. Wonderful.
You're welcome. So on their way to 11, they can stop at 9 and vote for you. There you go.
Stop along the way. Yeah, thank you.
That's right.
Wonderful. Great job, everybody. All right. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.